Feels like a bottom is just around the corner, but I'm telling you, A, we're not there yet, and B, it could be a lot longer than what a lot of folks are thinking, especially with some of the comments I'm getting. I want to show you some very basic visuals on my channel. We've already gone over the reasons why. I'm targeting somewhere between 16,400 to 22K for a bottom area of interest before I start seriously DCAing. And I want to also show you in this video why I think Ethereum is the key to the idea that we might be farther from a bottom than what it feels like, and also that Bitcoin dominance is due for a skyrocket move up. I want to show you some visuals on that, and at the end of the video, and again, you can use the tags that are in this video as well, but I'm going to show you some leveraged and futures trading tips and tricks at the end, so make sure you stay tuned and get ready for the initiation of Timification. Welcome back to the Cosasverdes show, where we cover Bitcoin and altcoin price action. Let's get it. As promised, we're going to start off with the idea that we're close to a bottom, it feels like. However, this could be a lot longer away, and this all mixes with the idea that Bitcoin dominance is probably going to make some nasty moves. I'm on the weekly RSI chart. Bottoms, historically, happen when you are below this line. This is the coronavirus dip. The only reason why it didn't go lower because it was fast and furious, and really the week didn't have time to go lower. It was a V-shaped correction, right? We're not looking for a V-shaped correction because you're wishful thinking and you're living in la la land if you're betting on that. Could it happen? It could, but if you're betting on something to that effect where it just V-shapes up, you're making the wrong bet. Even though it could happen, but that's not how you make money in crypto. You go off probabilities of something happening, and since the probability of that is low, it's not a safe bet. Visually just looking at this, okay, we're not here yet, so actually, maybe I should make this line right here. We're not down at least to this level yet. So, doesn't look like we're quite there. Could it be next week? It absolutely could. Or price could mosey up and we get a couple of green weeks. It goes like this and then heads down, similar to what happened here. It's about to this point, which it's roughly the same area. You have a week up and then you continue down. That could easily happen. That's visual number one. I'm going to give you a few more visuals. Visual number two. This is something I've gone over since December, way back here. Okay, actually, no, this is December right there. I've been going over this for a while. This is the essentially an EMA fill, the monthly 21 and the monthly 55. If you extend the monthly 55 to here, guess what? Every single capitulation / bear market goes below. Has Bitcoin even touched the line? No, it hasn't. So if you look over here on how many days are left, it says 7 days. And the idea that every time it dips deep into the zone, it keeps going in that same month. This chart, even though I wouldn't bet for this necessarily, but this is saying that it has a chance that this week could this could be the finale. And this is contrary. So this monthly chart is a little contrary to what I was saying earlier. It could be longer, but I haven't gotten to Ethereum yet in traditional markets. There are some mixed signals here. I'm saying it could be soon that we see, bottom for Bitcoin, but overall crypto, telling you, this is gonna go for over a year. This is going to be bloody. Things have not gotten to their low points yet. This is way too early to be seriously dollar cost averaging into altcoins that you think have hit bottom. I'm telling you, it is a long. I think it could be over a year away from the prime time to be buying bear market altcoins. All right. This is, however, for a Bitcoin bottom, which is not a crypto bottom. Okay, I've already gone over this on my channel many, many, many times. For example, Cardano bottomed 425 days after Bitcoin's bottom from back here. Cardano bottom here. Okay, most altcoins bottomed there. It bottoms when Bitcoin makes a macro high or low because altcoins don't run up as strongly as Bitcoin. And when it tanks one more time to, essentially make a macro, however it goes like this, and it goes up and makes a macro high or low, something to that effect, that is when altcoins make a bottom. It's long after, could be a year or more. See, 425 days. Most altcoins bottom over 400 days after Bitcoin's bottom here. Same for over here, even though this is a little bit different of a market. All right, so we're a long way off. However, so when I say Bitcoin bottom, I want to be exceptionally clear. That is not a crypto/altcoin bottom. Okay, and I'm going to show you evidence of that in the charts here coming up. That was like part number 2 of this video, and then I'll get to the futures tips and tricks and all that kind of stuff here at the end. So again, my link to my Discord, where I am personally live 5 or 6 times a week for video and voice chats with the community, and I have live trading team leaders to help guide people who are looking to learn the trade as well. Go ahead and check that out. And my Twitter, if I can speak. My Twitter is Cosasverdes with the number 2 afterward. It's really late, so I wanted to squeak out a Monday video. And if online communities are not your thing, you can click the join button right below this. A quick video will pop up describing your options to you to get exclusive content way above and beyond what I provide for YouTube alone. All right, so let's put myself in the top right. And all right, now, this is one visual on why Bitcoin hasn't bottomed, and that's different from a crypto bottom. I'll get crypto bottom here in just a second. It's one visual. Another way to look at bottoms is to go to the weekly chart, and let's put on the 200s EMA, so the 200 EMA and the 200 simple moving average, and simply look. Every single bottom has gone below these lines. See, extend that, went below. Here, it barely went below by a few dollars, but it still went below. It stuck its landing though. So this is 2014, 2015. This is late 2018 and early 2019. This is coronavirus. See the orange lines? Bottom, bottom, bottom. Have we hit that orange line? No. Every single time that orange line is hit. And what does this magically align with? Roughly the monthly blue line that I just showed, the bottom of that channel. It hasn't hit it yet. So the RSI. And so we have like 3 visuals here. The weekly RSI hadn't hit its spot. The monthly hadn't hit its spot. The weekly hasn't hit its spot. So let me show you something else. Some proprietary stuff here. And I'm not going to tell. So don't ask me for these, because what I'm about to show you, it's like provide a tutorial on how to set up my Cosa ribbons essentially in my Discord. But I want to show you something here is from a 2-day perspective. Okay, if you could essentially extend this something like that. Okay, make that blue. Bam. Bam. All right. Where do the bottoms sit? Hit the blue line. They hit the blue line. Has it hit the blue line? No. So let's go to the 2-day here. What's the 2-day RSI doing? Getting its butt rejected from the EMA. Does it have a higher low? Yeah, that's good. But what is typical during a down move, after you break into the red zone, so it broke into the red zone, peaked its, here, let me make this a different color. It poked its head above the white line, then went down. Bumped its head on the white line, went down. Bumped its head on the white line, went down. So what do you expect to happen as the 2-day approaches this? Maybe get above a little bit, but it's probably going to bump its head on it and then do what? Go down. Right? And that aligns with the idea that it, going back to price chart, it hasn't hit that blue line, and it does it every single time. Are we visually seeing this? All right, so that's for a Bitcoin bottom. It's not here yet. And so the reason why I can confidently say that is, what essentially makes a bottom? It's typically when a few large buyers, and in the stock market, they typically have insider information. That's just how it works. And very powerful, algorithmic / high frequency trading. But it's when a big purchaser decides that's the bottom and they hit market buy, and it can really start. That's often how things bottom. How it's usually not necessarily mass market psychology all the way. But even if it is mass market psychology or just the select few with large amount of money, when they decide to hit market buy, no, it's not going lower. Why do they make that choice? Because history says this is roughly where I should feel confident buying. They're not just going to say, I bought at 30K, so I'm defending 30K. No, they're not. They're either going to take losses or sell until it hits a point where they feel, whoa, this is way oversold. And visually, you can see that smart people with a lot of money are not going to think that this is a bottom. There's no reason to think this is a bottom based off his history and all of the information provided that's possible in the charts. You could look at on-chain stuff and say, supply this and supply that, we have a supply. Yeah, but that could take 2 to 3 years to play out. And it could take Bitcoin to potentially like $250,000 next run. It's possible. But that stuff isn't going, all the on-chain stuff that's saying there's a supply shock, that doesn't change the immediate order book. That could take a long time to play out, right? So on-chain analysis isn't going to really cut it. People with a lot of money who are determining where the bottom is, all right, they are going to go over the data that's in the charts, and there's no data in the charts giving people confident that this is a bottom. So therefore, with all like my lots of money, I'm willing to risk it by buying Bitcoin at 29K. They're not going to feel that way, right? So just think about it logically, like visually, and people making decisions. It doesn't make any sense, and I'm very, very confident Bitcoin has not hit a bottom. Could it have? Yeah, but it's simply not a safe bet. All right. So I've shown you things. Now, crypto bottom. Okay, outside of Bitcoin. So Bitcoin may be making, consolidating down low, but crypto is going to go down as Bitcoin maybe consolidates, and Bitcoin dominance is going to scream up. And I want to show you that right now. Even though I'm diving into Ethereum, this is more like crypto analysis. Look, let me get rid of these. Okay. On which line did Ethereum bottom? These, did you have bottoms? I'll highlight it for you. That blue line. What percentage down does Ethereum typically has it gone in its only bear market? It went 94% down. Okay, that says 93.2, but I didn't lock it in, so it's 94%. So Ethereum essentially leads altcoins. This has only gone down 61%, or maybe 62. Has it gotten anywhere close to this damn line? No, it's probably going to. That's what I'm saying. This is going under $1,000, folks. Ethereum, well, it actually that's right at $1,000. Interesting. If it gets down there by August, that is right at 1,000. So maybe not. It could wick under 1,000, easily. But anyway, I'm taking profits on my short from 3,000 on this blue line. I have a nice short, that's almost 200% in profit right now, and it is doing very well. I'm going to hold it to $1,000. All right, and it's going to be a huge trade. It's already a big trade on a percentage basis. But anyway, so yeah, look visually. That blue line, that's where it's probably going, or lower. Because historically, look, Ethereum didn't hit this top line. So therefore, when it bottoms, it could easily go lower than this line because the top was lower. Okay, it was lower. So therefore, the bottom on this chart should be lower. So I wouldn't even consider crypto market being done until Ethereum hits that line. It's on it, and I don't want to sound mean, but from a perspective of taking care of your money based off probabilities, it's freaking foolish to be thinking that crypto has hit a bottom. If this is your first bear market, you have no idea how low stuff can go. Nor do you have an idea of the difference, the huge difference between 95% down from a top and 99% down from a top. That difference is massive. It's not 4% different. You have no idea how low this stuff can go. And you can measure down 99% and get a feel for it. But let me show you just on Ethereum. Watch. So this was 90. So we know that this was 94. So let's do it from 94% down. So I will tag 99% down. So a Cardano went down 99% in a bear market. It did. Okay. So had Ethereum done that, there you go. So it went down 94% here. Watch the difference. Look. That's another 84% down from 95%, to go from 95% from wick, to go from 94% from wick high to 99% from wick high. That difference is 85% roughly. Like, it's a huge difference. Okay, so visually, look at this. So this is, like, I'm not even going to consider super strong DCAing, all that kind of stuff. I'm going to hit stuff hard until that blue line is hit. And I don't think you should either. There's literally no reason to think that. Ethereum's got a hell of a long way to go. A long way to go. But Bitcoin, I don't think it does. Now, there is something in the charts that is saying Bitcoin 2, even though the weekly RSI is saying it's close, the monthly channel that I showed you earlier saying, I feel that Bitcoin's freaking close to a bottom. But it sure could consolidate between 40K and 25K. It could do that for over a year, in which every time it consolidates at lows in a range or whatever for a year, altcoins are going lower and lower and lower, and so will Ethereum. I'm telling you, it's going to be nasty. And this is going to take a while. But I've already established that, hopefully. But there's a possibility that Bitcoin does too. And my low target of 16.4, it could be smashed through, and unless Bitcoin separates from traditional markets. I've already given a NASDAQ video on why I think 8,600 to 8,900 will hit, but just look. Just a quick rundown of this. Just look. When price goes too far above the middle, so this blue line is the middle. This is like your master origin line. It goes back to there. If it goes too far below the middle, what does it do? It immediately V-shapes or corrects quickly to try to get as close to the middle area as possible. Do you see how fast that was? Now, is that over a year? Yes, it was. But for this chart, that's fast, right? It goes to the middle. If it goes too far above, it goes down to the middle. It goes too far below, it goes up to the middle. So this is like your equator. This is like your tropic lines, right? So essentially, yeah, you know what I'm talking about. On the Earth, on the globe, this is the equator, and these are the tropics of what is it, Capricorn and Cancer or something. But and so because price went too high, it's going to go down not just to that blue line, but it will wick below it, and it's going to take a while. It's going to happen, all right? Like, it's extremely likely, but it's not going to happen immediately. So the time to take to get there, it could be, to wick below, it could be 140, 150 days. If it hits this line, it could be almost 200 days. And that's for a Bitcoin bottom. And that would be more like 12K. The next support after 20K. All right. And it could wick down to 16.4 and then pop right back up that wick. That's actually kind of what I'm thinking for Bitcoin. 16.4 or 17.8, or even, honestly, a lot of things are saying a 22K Bitcoin bottom is a pretty good bet. But I don't know which one it is. But I want to warn you, though, that traditional markets, I think they have a long way to go, and Bitcoin's connected to it. So if Bitcoin cannot separate from this, it's probably going to 12K. I personally think that Bitcoin will separate from it. Finally, during this bear market, because of that reason, I don't think, I really think that Bitcoin will separate because, I think that's when the on-chain data stuff is going to come into effect. That's really bullish type of stuff. Hash rate is bullish. Just a lot of other, the supply shock issue is bullish. And I think that is what's going to set stuff up. However, if that doesn't come to fruition, and this takes another 200 days to get down there, or slightly longer, that's it. Like, look, that's a fairly aggressive slope to get down there. Watch. That's fairly aggressive. Let's just look at the last time it fell. Well, actually, yeah, falling from there to there, it was also aggressive. So it could happen. But let's say like this. Something to that effect. Because you have bounces, right? Actually, let's go like that. There you go. So it could go, lower, then bounce, lower, bounce. Yeah, that looks about right. Watch. Okay. Now from current day to there, that's 150 days. And if Bitcoin can't bottom, and it keeps going down with this for 150 something days, the next support is 12K. It could be a lot longer. And what does that mean for altcoins? If Bitcoin can't, so with the loose assumption that NASDAQ and S&P 500 are going quite a bit lower, that's a fairly safe assumption in my opinion, right? But it could be wrong. But with that assumption, if Bitcoin does not separate from the market, it's going to go down lower. It'll probably hit 12K, but also altcoins will almost all go down closer to 98 to 99%. Not my 90 to 95 target. They're going closer to 99. And I just showed you the difference between 94% to 99%. It's freaking huge. And that would really be a rough crypto market. But regardless, I'm not even going to be personally interested in altcoin, big time scooping stuff up at a deal until my blue line's hit on Ethereum. And I'm going to be hesitant on thinking there's a Bitcoin bottom until at least the median line on this chart is hit. Bare minimum this. Bare minimum. And that's at 9,800 or so. Now that's actually, it's just under 10,000. Bare minimum. Bitcoin won't bottom until that happens. All right. It's very, very unlikely. All right. Now, some tips and tricks for futures trading, as I promised. All right. So that's my pessimism, but it's actually good. I made all sorts of, I have made more money today in my futures than I have in a while. Like the down days, this is great. And honestly, I might just show you. So this might be a little bit for, this might crash my computer having too much stuff open, but this is also kind of what we do in Discord. I'm going to show you a little bit of something here. Let's see I know you can't see what I'm looking at here. Hold on. I know I posted this on Twitter, didn't I? All right. So over the weekend, on Saturday, I gave 2 alerts. I posted this. You see that? Bam. All right. I let people know I think blue or orange path is more likely, but be very careful. Okay, so that comes in the middle of the 22nd, closer to the 23rd. So in the middle of 22nd, I said, right around there, could hit 30,400. Be very careful that could easily happen. Let's go to price. So this is for all tiers and my YouTube tiers as well. I give that same information for daily updates. Okay. My target was about here for 30,400. It did hit 30,400 on the same exact area of my path. It did give one more higher high and then tanked. All right. So that was my idea. And so I gave 3 price paths. The one that I thought was least likely did happen, but I warned people this could easily float up. All right. So that's one area of alert. But what do you do with that? How do you make money from that is the question, right? Because TA/analysis is totally different than trading. All right. Well, I will go through some of this. So here's one. I warn people that the 12-hour and daily typically, if you can read this, we know that they typically drive the lower time frames. But I guessed here that I felt very, very strongly, and I bet pretty hard on this, and I did very well today because of it with this confident guess, that today the 1-hour chart will dominate over these, and it's going to give me the best signal. And the signal that I gave was actually the same signal I shared the last time I gave futures tips. I shared with you my favorite freaking short signal, and it's the thing that exactly happened. Look over here. It went under the EMA and got rejected after getting some form of rejection from the green zone. So this got rejected, but that's not a good short signal because what? Because it's not under the white. It's going to go under the white and then get rejected. And look. That's when I gave my alert. This is the lower high. You need to start getting in positions now. And then what happened right after? Kablam! Things tanked, obviously, right? So take a look at where I did that. I did that on the... Yeah, so I will look at that right? Yeah, it was on this candle right here. Right there on that candle. Let them know this is the lower high. It's getting ready to scream down. And for VIPs, I gave more alerts on specific coins that I was shorting and why they were structurally way too high. Things like Filecoin went way too. A few of them, SPX, Dash went way too high for the move from a structural basis. So a lot of those a lot of coins that went above their recent consolidation zone and went way up here. Relative to Bitcoin, so they went more like up to here. Like a lot of like Dash went way up here structurally. So I let them know, hey, these are the ones that I am personally more interested in shorting. And so that same exact signal happened. And so if you aren't familiar with futures, just be aware that just because you get a signal and you have a good entry, if you have an entry that is 70% hit rate, but over time, you do that same thing and you're not using risk management because you don't know how to set stops and you don't know what good risk management is, you will lose all your money, even with bomb-ass entries. Because the times, so 30% of the time doesn't work, you'll lose all your money. So just because I give a little snippet on futures type of stuff, right, doesn't mean that you have the tools to make money sustainably over time, because it's all about risk management. We go into risk management a lot more deeply on my Discord community, but from an entry standpoint, that signal, so let's go over here. That signal works very well on the 1 hour chart, and I'll show you what it is just one more time. I like to see a big, some type of pump. It rebounds, you get some form of rejection under the green zone, and sometimes it's falling from here. And it does that, and then goes under its white line. So it doesn't have to come from above, it can come from down too, but regardless, you start getting some form of lower high structure on the RSI on the 1 hour. Some of them, or a recent one, has gotten rejected from this green line specifically, but that's not it. And then it has to go under its white line or the EMA, pop back up and touch it, and then that next candle, after that closes, when the next candle's starting to turn red, that's when you start entering positions, specifically. How you enter positions, slowly or quickly, or using limit buys or limit sells versus market sells, all that is totally different than TA. This is only an entry signal. And that same exact signal that I gave last time, okay, it did the trick. So here, I think it was this one. Okay, so let's mark some of these off. Watch. And just see how good of a signal this is. But the same thing works on the 12 hour. You just have fewer of those opportunities. So what is it? Alt-V. Watch this. Just watch. Here, it did not get rejected from the green zone, but you had the lower high structure. Wait till it gets under, rejected, all right? So, and I didn't plan this. I'm just doing this nonchalantly here. That wasn't the greatest signal. Didn't get a good one there. This... That one's okay. I don't know if I would have gone after that, but I would have entered slightly there. I don't think I would have been confident with that one, so I would have entered pretty lightly on that, but I'll still mark it. Here's a good one right there. This is a very good one. And watch, I'm going to show you what this looks like on price. I can just tell by looking at, oh, this is a perfect one. That's about as good as you can get. Perfect rejection from the green zone, perfect lower high, came below, gave you one opportunity to short. That's likely a lower high in price, but that's what I like shorting the most. This is the easiest freaking signal, and I'm going to show you another one here in a second. These were tough plays. So here, I would have shorted, and I would have been stopped out. See, I would not have successfully gotten that one. You see that? Because then it went up. So I'll mark that one off, but I'll make it red, saying it didn't work. So, just because something's a good entry doesn't mean it works 100% of the time. And that's a perfect example. That did not work. I would have been stopped out. All right. And then let's see here. That's a good signal about right there. I need to make that. What color were we dealing with? Blue? Nope, green. Something like That, there you go. And I think that's probably enough for these purposes, right? Here's another really good one. That's an excellent signal. So now let's go look at price. Okay, and again, just because it's an entry does not mean you can go fart around with futures. If you don't know how much leverage to use or don't use, you know, you're going to lose all your money even with a really good entry. So I don't want to try to, you know, bait people into thinking that they can do futures. All right, so signal number one, boom. Is that a good time to short? Fuck yeah, it was. Just because I'm making entries look simple doesn't mean it's that simple in practice. Was this a good time to short? Hell yeah, it was. Was it the perfect time? Was the wick high? No, but you don't want to try to short wick highs. Yes, perfect. And even on this fake out, you wouldn't have been stopped out. Now, had you moved your stops down, would you have been stopped out in profit? You had to re-enter? Yeah, probably. All right. So here, this is the one that didn't work. Right there. It would have worked for that candle, and you probably could have gotten your stops at break even. So you probably wouldn't have lost much money because it did get a nice red move down. So you would have been able to move your stops a little like closer to profit. So that would have been a very, very small loss. So the time it did work, it's a very, very small loss. Was this a good time to short? Hell yeah. Was this a good time to short? Hell yeah. Was this a good time to short? Hell yeah. Was this a good... So this is where I gave the signal, right? Or no. That's not the same one. Was this a good time to short? Hell yeah. That was a badass time to short. See, even got that huge move. Just this simple 1 hour trick. Look at that. I bet that also got it on the 12 hour. And I'm going to show you that here in a second. Was this a good time to short? Hell yeah. Was this a good time to short? Hell yeah. So again, this is simply an entry. So if you're trying to do this shit on 20x leverage, you're going to get screwed, even with a good entry. You're not supposed to be using that much leverage on volatile assets. It's not meant for that. The only reason why exchanges offer you more than 10x leverage is because they want your money. I'm telling you. On things like maybe gold or the euro versus the dollar where it moves in like 1% on a big day, yeah, you can use 50x leverage on that crap. Not in crypto. So, you know, don't just say, oh, Cosa said this is the signal, I'm 50x shorting. No, you'll lose your money. Even on a good entry. Because you have no wiggle room, essentially. And maybe a lot of you don't know what that means. It essentially means your stops have to be tighter because your leverage is higher. And you need cushion room, aka less leverage, in a volatile market. Because one stop on out, you're done. And you lose a lot of money, even when you're right. Right? So with a lot of leverage, you have to be right, and the timing has to be perfect, which is impossible. It's not sustainable. Your timing cannot be perfect. You have to have wiggle room. All right? So again, it almost looks like I'm making this easy. It is that easy for entries, but entries are only one of three major fat columns of trading. You have entries, profit taking, risk management. So I'm only covering entries. I cannot stress this enough. Don't come back to this video and say, oh, I shorted on your signal and, you know, and I didn't use any risk management, but it's still your fault. You're going to look like an idiot if you try doing that. So but I'm simply giving you a good entry signal without explaining risk management. And that's what a community is for, all right? Or just your own personal research on how to do that. But I see a lot of people, even influencers, like talking about 50x and 25x leverage. That's just that's stupid. That is not the way to do things. I'm telling you, it is not sustainable. I am telling you, it doesn't matter if you think I'm wrong. You are wrong if you think I'm wrong. Like, it is not. This signal also works on the 12-hour chart. And it's about the best damn signal there is. However, you only get a few of them a year. All right. So this one would have been perfect. You would have had to wait for a downtick, but let's do Control V. No, Alt V. I'm going to make this pink. I will go from here. You probably would have had to try 3 times on this. But between there and there, you probably would have had to try it a few times. You would have been stopped out most likely. But that's still a hell of a signal. Okay, the same idea. There's some form of rejection or higher low structure in the highs here. Plus you go under the EMA, get rejected by it, and then start ticking down. So here I probably you would have had to try that. Once you see price here it just fell off a cliff, but you don't try shorting into that. You just are screwed, and you can't do with that. You don't try shorting into this crap. That shit just happens. And there's really no great signal for it on this chart. This is not a good signal at all. Why? Because it's still up in the green zone. This is your signal here. All right, and we'll show the difference here. So I'll put that right there. I might have shorted that. I might have, even though that went slightly above, that still failed. I would have tried both, actually. I would have added to my position there. So I'll put 2 there. Here I would have tried it, but I would have been stopped out. So it wouldn't have worked here. This had a stop hunt. So I will put, it didn't work here. I will put a red one. It did not work there. So just because it's a signal that has a good hit rate doesn't mean it works every time. So I'll put red. Actually, no, I will put purple for 12-hour didn't work. Purple. Now watch. Boom. Such a simple, actually, it kind of did, yeah, I would have been way stopped out. Yeah, that was a tricky one. So it wouldn't have worked there. It went up, and then the signal, what did I miss here? Oh, the short opportunity was there. Interesting. I wouldn't have been, the signal wouldn't have gotten you that. You would have had to use a different chart to hit that. All right, bam. So I would have been shorting, actually, I wouldn't have been stopped out. So this is where I said I think I might have, no, I would have added to my position here. So I would have gotten in position, maybe taken profits, and then re-added here. Look how perfect that is. Look at that. It's the same idea, but on the 12-hour chart. Was this a good time to short? Fuck yeah. And this is another one where I think I said I would have had to enter twice, or I got stopped. I would have, yeah, this is the one where I said I would have been stopped out most likely, and I would have got it on the second or third try. Take a look. Would have shorted into this one. I would have gotten stopped out, and I waited for the next signal. I would have shorted again. Would that have been a good time? Only trying it twice? Hell yeah, that's a huge move. Huge. 15% raw price. Massive. Was this a good time to short? Hell yes. See that signal? So this works. I mean, I'm telling you, the 12-hour and the 1 hour, this signal works very, very well. And what you'll see here, if you see it happening on the 12-hour, but also the 1 hour is doing it, well, that means they agree, and that's when you want to go bigger, obviously, as long as you understand risk management and profit-taking strategies. So hopefully this bonus material is good. And again, this is what we go over, this kind of stuff, in addition to how to do risk management. Or sometimes people just come on and they say, okay, here's my entry. Take a look at VeChain or whatever. And I'm like, dude, you're at a loss. And he's like, yeah. So, and then the person sometimes says, well, a question. And then I'm like, well, what you're asking is, what do you do now? How do you wiggle out of this? And so sometimes people do come on because they're learning. And I always stress to my community, if you have fewer than 100 trades under your belt, don't use more than a couple $100 in futures because it's going to disappear. It's the cost of your tuition. Don't put a lot of money in. Don't try to hit a home run. But anyway, we go more in depth on all 3 elements of trading, which is entries, risk, profit taking, and risk management. And today, for YouTube purposes of YouTube, this video is already long enough. I only give you entry signals. Good entry signals do not mean you'll make money sustainably over time. Cannot stress that enough. If you want to try playing with futures, you do it carefully with very little money or with a practice account. I strongly suggest a tiny bit of your own money because it's emotional trading as well. And I have the theory, which I'm probably right, but I might not be, that most people, the majority of people, will learn better when you're also emotionally training yourself with emotional stimuli as you see your $200 go or up then down. With the test account, you're not getting emotional stimuli. So I recommend very, very tiny amounts of your real money or I do it a test account. And yeah, that's kind of my spiel on that. And if you want more guidance, check out the Discord community. And when I'm not available, I have 3 live trading leaders, and I have other 3 crypto fundamentals leaders within the Discord community to help you out. If you have questions about how do I get my coins off an exchange, how do I deal with this ledger, we got live leaders who help those discussions, and they release their calendars, and that's what we got. So you just got Timified, freaking worldwide. Take a look at some of these videos popping up if you haven't seen them. I don't even know what I'm going to put, but check it out, and we'll see you next time.